Hey, Shalom Lakem, Kal Yashara'al. How's your peace, Israel? Welcome back to another video. We're gonna keep going. You see, I'm starting to realize that, there's no rest, right? We might as well let the word come out. These demons don't rest. They don't require no food like as such. So it's us who are slightly limited in regards to our energy levels because we have to sleep and things like this, right? But while we are awake, let the word come out, right? So we're dealing with the topic at hand, which is afterlife, resurrection, and the final judgment. Okay, and we're gonna pick up in the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 2, and it reads on this wise. It says, "Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever." Okay? Afterlife, resurrection, and final judgment. We're going to connect this with the book of Enoch, chapter 22, verse 1, and it reads on this wise. It says, "And thence I went to another place, and he mountain and a hard of rock, and there was in it 4 hollow places, deep and wide and very smooth. How smooth are the hollow places, and deep and dark to look at. Then Raphael answered, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said unto me, These hollow places have been created for this very purpose, that the spirits of the souls of the dead should assemble therein. Yea, that all the souls of the children of men should assemble here. And these places have been made to receive them till the day of their judgment, until their appointed period, till the period appointed, till the great judgment comes upon them. I saw the spirit of a dead man making suit, and his voice went forth to heaven and made suit. And I asked Raphael, the angel who was with me, and I said unto him, The spirit which maketh suit, who is it whose voice goeth forth and maketh suit to heaven? And he answered me, saying, This is the spirit which went forth from Abel, whom his brother Cain slew, and he makes his suit against him, till his seed is destroyed from the face of the earth, and his seed is annihilated from amongst the seed of men. Then I asked regarding it, and regarding all the hollow places, why is one separated from another? And he answered me and said unto me, These 3 have been made that the spirits of the dead might be separated, and such a division has been made. The spirits of the righteous, in which there is the bright spring of water, and such has been made for sinners when they die and are buried in the earth, and judgment has not been executed on them in their foretime. Here their spirit shall be set apart in a great pain till the great day of judgment and punishment and torment of those who curse forever, and retribution for their spirits. There he shall bind them forever, and such a division has been made for the spirits of those who make their suit, who make disclosures concerning their destruction, when they were slain in the days of the sinners. Such has been made for the spirits of men who were not righteous but sinners, who were complete in transgression, and of the transgressors they shall be companions, but their spirits shall not be slain in the day of judgment, nor shall they be raised from thence. That I blessed the Lord of glory, and said, Blessed be my Lord, the Lord of righteousness, who ruleth forever. Quite interesting. So this is showing you the division, as we see in the New Testament. You see the Abraham's bosom, okay, and you see that those who are in the righteous places, that's where they were dwelling, right? There's different segments of Sheol, the divisions. There's a place for the righteous where there were springs of water, and then there was places those who sin, or sold themselves out, or sold their souls, let's just say, they would go to the Sheol, but they're in a place where there's pain until the great day. So it's not a great place either. It's not a great place. Then there's also a place, I think there's 3 divisions. These 3 have been made that the spirits of dead be separated. Yeah, so there's a place for the righteous, there's a place for the wicked, and then there's a place for those that are have been in the middle. The kind of, I wouldn't say lukewarm, but they're the ones that have transgressed, have sinned, right? Done a lot of wickedness, but they're not going to be destroyed in the day of judgment. You see what I'm saying? That's after the 1,000-year reign. You get what I'm saying? So Mashiach is going to come back, and those that were died in righteousness, they're going to rise. You get what I'm saying? And they're going to reign with the Mashiach for 1,000 years. Then when it comes to actually the 1,000 years, when Shaitan comes and tries to make a final attack, and then he gets, the king, the Gog and Magog, they get destroyed by fire and whatnot. Then that is when the books will be opened, and then those that died in wickedness, they will also be resurrected. But that's the second resurrection, and that will be the ones that of the wicked. They will go and die. They'll be thrown in the lake of fire. Those that were in the second segment, they will raise, and they will be able to enter into the kingdom. Let's just say because of they didn't. But they're not being thrown into the lake of fire. That's the difference. So there's 3 segments. That's quite interesting. Enoch broke that down. That's why we have to come in the full volume of the book. I I literally, I feel sorry that people are not like enjoying what I'm enjoying here. I wish people could enjoy it with me. You get what I'm saying? Because what I'm reading, these are gems here. This is real stuff. This is stuff that you can bet your life upon and make yourself peace. Not make yourself, but it makes you at peace with your day-to-day activities. Let's not hold the Father's Spirit. Let's keep going. We're dealing with afterlife, resurrection, and the final judgment. Okay, we're going to go into the testament of Abraham. It's chapter 12. We're going to pick up from verse 1. Okay. And I read, it says, while he was yet saying these things to me, behold, there were 2 angels with fiery aspect and merciless intention and relentless look, and they drove myriads of souls mercilessly, beating them with fiery lashes. And the angels seized one soul, and they drove all the souls into the broad gate towards destruction. Then we too followed the angels, and we came inside that broad gate. And between the 2 gates there stood a terrifying throne with the appearance of a terrifying crystal. Now just to bear in mind, what we just read in Enoch, there is a slight change, because those that were bound in righteousness, they were delivered when Mashiach came. And I'm hard pressed to say that even those that die after Mashiach, they are also going to be, their spirit is now not bound. Do you get what I'm saying? Because that's what he was supposed to do. He was coming to deliver Adam from Sheol, so he was breaking the bonds. So those who die in righteousness, they will be able to, their spirits will be able to go up and remain. Because even reading in the book of Revelation, it talks about, I think it's in the 7th seal. I think it's the 7th seal. It talks about the spirits. Oh no, it's the 5th seal. It talks about the spirits that are making it, are moaning about how long is it gonna be, and then they said it's until Let me see. Let's not butcher it. Revelation, 7 seals, scriptures. Okay, and I think it's the 5th seal. If I get to the 5th seal, it says, when he opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altars the souls of those who had been slain for the word of God and for the witnesses they had borne. They cried out with a loud voice, O sovereign Lord and holy and true, how long before you will judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth? Then they were each given a white robe and told to rest a little longer, until the number of their fellow servants and their brothers should be complete, who were to be killed as they themselves had been. Okay, so maybe the same operation that Enoch has spoken about is the same. It's just that Mashiach came and delivered, those that were bound in Sheol. So there could be 2 possibilities. It could be that Mashiach delivered just those at that time, or everyone after he delivered them, as well as everyone after Mashiach, also their spirits or their souls are not bound, but they go up. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, let's continue. Um, it says, and upon it, so we're in verse, I'll read back to verse 4. It says, and between the two gates were stood, no, I'll go back. Let me start from verse 1. It says, while he was yet saying these things, behold, two angels with fiery aspect and merciless intention and relentless look, and they drove myriads of souls, mercilessly beating them with fiery lashes. An angel seized one soul, and they drove all the souls into the broad gate towards destruction. Then we too followed the angels, and we came inside that broad gate, and between the two gates stood a terrifying throne with appearance of terrifying crystal, flashing like fire. And upon it sat a wondrous woman, bright as the sun, like unto flashing fire. And upon it sat a wondrous man, bright as the sun, like unto a son of God. Before him stood a table like crystal, all of gold and byssus. On the table lay a book whose thickness was 6 cubits, while its breadth was 10 cubits. On its right, on its left, stood two angels holding papyrus and ink and pen. In front of the table sat a light bearing angel holding a balance in his hand. On his left there sat a fiery angel, altogether merciless and relentless, holding a trumpet in his hand, which contained within it all the consuming fire for testing the sinners. And the wondrous man who sat on the throne was the one who judged and sentenced the soul. The two angels on the right and on the left recorded. The one on the right recorded righteous deeds, while the one on the left recorded sins. And the one who was in front of the table, who was holding the balance, weighed the souls. And the fiery angel who held the fire tested the souls. And Abraham asked the commander-in-chief Michael, what are these things which we see? And the commander-in-chief said, these things which you see, P.S. Abraham, are judgment and recompense. Okay, so Abraham was exposed to some of the mechanisms that we do not see with our naked eye. Okay, we're now moving into the second Baruch. Okay, second Baruch, chapter 50, and we're going to pick up in verse 1. Okay, and it reads, it says, and he answered and said to me, listen, Baruch, to this word, and write down in memory of your heart all that you shall learn. For the earth will surely give back the dead at that time. It receives them now in order to keep them, not changing anything in their form, but as it receives them, so it will give them back. As I delivered them to it, so it will raise them. For then it will be necessary to show those who live that the dead are living again, and those who went away have come back. And it will be that when they have recognized each other, those who know each other at this moment, then my judgment will be strong, and those things which have been spoken of before will come. And it will happen after this day which I appointed is over, that both the shape of those who are found to be guilty, as also the splendor of those who have proved to be righteous, will be changed. And it talks about that. Yeah, it talks about in 1 Corinthians, right? Let me get that just so that we can. It says, this is 1 Corinthians 15 and 51. It says, now I declare to you, brothers, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, nor does the perishable inherit the imperishable. Listen, I tell you a mystery. We will not all sleep, but we will all be changed in an instant, in a twinkling of an eye, in the twinkling of an eye at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised imperishable and will be changed. You see? So that's correlating with what we just read in Baruch. in chapter 51, 50 to 51. And we're going to finish it up in the last scripture, which is the book of Ezra, 4th Ezra, chapter 7, pick it up in verse 32. Okay? And it reads on this wise. It says, "And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and the chambers shall give up the souls which have been committed to them. And the Most High shall be revealed upon the seat of judgment. And then comes the end. And misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. But judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall grow strong. And the work shall follow, and the reward shall be manifested, and the righteous deed shall be of force, and unrighteous wicked deeds shall bear no rule." So I only hope the reader listen to this word will be blessed by this. We were looking at the afterlife, the resurrection, and the final judgment. We've come with 5 different books. These are from 5 different individuals, and they're all correlating with the same story, but they actually are giving different pieces to the puzzle to give a more fuller picture of what the afterlife, resurrection, and the final judgment is about and how it works out. There's always a little bit to people get a bit confused with, they believe that the end of the judgment, the final judgment, is when the Messiah comes. A lot of people think, but based on what the book of Revelation states, the Mashiach reigns for 1,000 years. Judgment is actually at the end of that. You see, the righteous reign with the Mashiach for 1,000 years. All the wicked, they're put away. You get what I'm saying? So, that's how I see it from what is written in the scriptures. Then Shaitan makes his final, battle after the 1,000 years, from what the book of Revelation says. Let's get it. Let me just it's Revelation 20. Revelation 20. Okay, Revelation 20 says, "And I saw an angel came down from heaven, having the key to the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold of the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years." Okay, so this is after the Messiah has come back and he's taking control of the dominion, right? The kingdom. He's taking control. He's got rid of the false prophet. Let me get that actually. Anyway, let me just read. It says, and sorry, yeah, and cast him into the, sorry, I'll read it again. "And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold of the dragon and that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottom." So this is what's actually happening during the Mashiach's return. He said, "And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should receive the nations no more, till 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that he must be loosened a little season. And soon and saw the thrones, and that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of the Mashiach," it says, or Jesus, "for the word of God, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received the mark upon their foreheads or on their hands, and they lived and reigned with the Mashiach for 1,000 years." So this is what it's saying here, right? "But the rest of the dead lived not again until 1,000 years were finished." This is the first resurrection. Okay, "Blessed and holy is he that partake in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power, but they shall be priests of God and Christ, and shall reign with him for 1,000 years." So those who died in righteousness, they will experience the first resurrection. They will rise, right? those who didn't and did wickedness, they're not going to rise. You see what I'm saying? The only time they're going to rise is the second resurrection, as you're going to see. It says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan will be loosed out of his prison, and shall go to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city. And fire came down from God out of the heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented and night for ever and ever. Okay. And I saw a great white throne, him sat on it, from whose face the earth and heaven fled away, and there was no found place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open. And another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. So we can see here, right, that those who are died in righteousness are going to experience the first resurrection. When the Mashiach comes, those who died in righteousness will rise, and they will get to reign with the Mashiach for 1,000 years, right? But those who die in wickedness, they are not rising, right? Shaitan is being bound in that 1,000 years, okay? So is the false prophet, and then what? As you can see, it says that the devil was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, right? And shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Okay, it says that's where the beast and the false prophet are. Okay, so they were already there. They were there. That's, you see, that they were there from when the Mashiach came on the 1,000. When the Shaitan was bound, right? That's where they were. Okay. Then he's released after 1,000 years. So a lot of people think that judgment, they think that the judgment, some people believe that the judgment, or let's just say the books are open when the Mashiach comes. That's not the case. We've just read that the Mashiach comes, bounds Shaitan, or the angels bound them, the false prophet, all this sort of stuff. There's peace for 1,000 years. Then Shaitan is released to make war, brings out the nations to come against the Mashiach for a final battle, and fire comes from the heavens, right? From the Father, right? Destroys the nations, right? And that's when the books are open. Many of the dead, that those who died in wickedness, they will also rise. You see what I'm saying? Because there's those die in righteousness, they've already been transformed. Do you get what I'm saying? They've already been transformed. So I don't see they've already died in those who rise in righteousness from the death of dying in righteousness. Let's just say they died in righteousness and they rise, take part in the first resurrection. They have already been transformed. They have already got the spiritual body, so they are now already living forever. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's no I don't think there's much for me to explain from that. Just a lot of people try to squeeze that. Some people don't. I think there's some people I've come across that don't even believe in the 1,000-year reign. They believe that the judgment and the Mashiach's is happening at the same time, but it's not. You can clearly see it here that there's a gap. There's a righteousness phase for 1,000 years, and Shaitan's released. He's now then bound after his, work of wickedness. And then the dead, the wicked, those who died in wickedness, they also rose. And then the books are open, and judgment is now, prescribed. So I only hope through the Spirit that I've made it plain through what we've just read that we're dealing with afterlife, the resurrection, and the final judgment. So may Yahweh bless you, may Yahweh keep you, may Yahweh cause his face to shine upon you, may Yahweh be gracious to you, may Yahweh lift up his countenance upon you, and may Yahweh grant you everlasting peace in Yeshua. Have a Shai's name I pray. Selah.